Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get risque every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Hello. Good morning. Welcome to the Monday KVJ After the Show podcast. Good to be here. Want to say thanks so much, everybody who sent the nice wishes. We had told you at the tail end of the show that we signed a 3-year contract to stay here at WRMF, so that's all good. So we're going to be here for the at least near future. So that's all good. We're all happy about that. So thank you very much for all the well wishes on that. It was a big day for us.
Someone's trying to ask me how many more dirt of the days is that. I was trying to give them a number.
It's a lot.
And you can give a rough number. I think I came up with
all of our numbers are rough.
Like 1,200 roughly. I got to do the math on that.
Or don't.
You're right. This is the world need to know.
Why are you going to do the work that nobody's asking for?
One person on Twitter.
Yeah, they got you going. Yeah, I hear that.
Dude, it just takes one.
Get you on a wild chase. Yeah, just that one. So thank you for that. And that's happy news for us. So good to know we're going to be with our people for at least the near future.
Yes, in these times of uncertainty, it certainly is a gift and a blessing.
Should we hug each other?
Not in the days of coronavirus.
I don't want you that close to me.
I was talking to Kevin.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we should hug.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. We had a lot to celebrate over the weekend. It was Father's Day, which is fun. Nice day. My birthday was yesterday, so I had a big old day. It's kind of cool. And Virginia made that keto cake for me. I got to tell you, I took that home, and we plowed the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I never...
Sounds like you fucked the cake.
American pie?
Somebody got a dirty mind.
I plowed through the whole cake. Sounds like you're porking it, dog.
Does it?
You were thinking the same thing.
Jason hasn't been laid in a while.
Okay.
There's Kevin.
Yeah, neither of you. You can make a keto-friendly cake with almond flour. Who knew?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do different stuff with it.
It's nut flour.
Yeah. Now, it depends upon, where you're set. I think Jaybird tried it. I know my father-in-law, he tried it. He's like, ugh. And I was like, oh, no, I thought it was really good.
It's not super sweet.
Yeah.
I could have added more stuff to it to make it sweeter, but I know you don't want all those calories.
Yeah, no.
I don't doubt that you loved it. That's because you're used to eating air.
Right.
The only thing that really sweetened it was a little bit of honey.
Okay.
And then the fruit that was in it. And some vegetables, too. I put a few vegetables in it, but that was it.
Sherry G had sent an email. She said, FYI, Virginia, mango, banana, and carrot are not keto-friendly. All contain sugar and carbs. Congrats, you just kicked Kevin out of ketosis. LOL, sorry, Kev.
Damn.
Well, keto's...
In small numbers, you can have them.
Yeah, and keto's weird because, my wife, we've looked on some charts and recipes and things like that, and some things they say you can have with keto and other things you can't. So I'm like, look, I'm not going to make myself mad about this. I
just don't go nuts with it.
Right. I realize that might be a questionable thing, so I have smaller amounts of that, but I'm not even... People are really into the keto or like doing these things to test if they're in ketosis, and I'm not doing that. I just know that pretty much trying to stay away from things I know are overtly carbohydrates and sugars is a good diet for me, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, frosting, not keto. Mm-hmm. That's why you got no frosting on your cake.
Exactly. So, but I thought it was fantastic, and it was gone by halfway through the weekend. So,
good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm going to explore that more because I need to eat less flour. Flour, sugar, those are the big enemies for me. I can see it on my ass.
Okay. Yeah, I feel better.
Tell her ass looks great. Or are we allowed to even say that anymore? I can't say it.
Tell her ass looks great.
Do I have consent to say your ass looks great?
That's questionable territory there.
It is. You're the only person I can say. You're the only woman I could say that to.
Let's be honest. My ass does not look great. I've been eating a lot. I put all that weight right back on with the quarantine.
Well, I've been eating better, and I've been losing a little weight. and my ass still looks horrific. So don't feel bad, Mama.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's as a compliment. It's coming from a place of love.
Oh.
Got a lot of emails from the e-blast that we had sent out on Friday. It was Juneteenth, the celebration of the official end of slavery, or when it actually did end in 1865. And we included some personal notes from everybody on the show, and also a list of some things if you are, trying to learn a little bit more about Black history in America. Unfortunately, a lot of us were robbed of that in our educations growing up.
I didn't even know that Juneteenth was a thing.
Yeah, well, that it was celebrated, and honestly, I would not be surprised if next year it is already a national holiday and a day that we have off, and something we'll be celebrating that way.
Amen.
From here on out. So yeah, Juneteenth, if you were not aware, you could learn about it on the e-blast and in many of the shows, and it's something that probably will be directly impacting your life. Got some emails and a lot of responses when we sent it out. I saw a lot of those, responded to some of them, what I could over the weekend. Patty had sent an email and said, "Thank you for the incredible list of movies and videos to watch. We all believe we are educated on this matter, but we can all use much more information and the raw viewpoints from those who have suffered the most. I appreciate your time and efforts on trying to open the eyes of those that are so closed and the hearts that are so cold." She said, "I've been to every Black Lives Matter rally between Lake Worth and Stewart, and I've been mostly peaceful, or the rallies have been. However, you'd be amazed at the hatred that is thrown and shouted at me, a white woman, for being racist, for standing up for the blacks. It's dangerous being that close to the road. I was spit on last week. But I won't stop. I'm 57, a single mom of a gay young man, and I will never tolerate racism. I raised him the same way. It's only right. Again, thank you. You are amazing. Make us laugh in the tough times." So, Patty, thank you for that. So, and it is really kind of interesting. Discrimination, these communities, whomever you are, if you've ever felt discriminated against, I think, it's kind of a rallying cry for a lot of people saying, yeah, discrimination, no matter who you might be, sucks. Whether you might be from LGBTQ community or another minority that might happen, or just anybody who's ever felt discriminated against for who you are.
I don't know if I'd be able to contain myself if somebody spit on me.
Well, you got a lot of balls, because they might be just retaliating from you, because you spit on a lot of son of a bitches.
I'm talking and spitting because
Yes.
I have excess saliva and I don't mean to do it. Masks are good for me. I should have been wearing a mask since the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone purposefully spits on you when you're out at a protest or a rally that's a positive, beautiful thing, like, oh my gosh, that's how you get me to turn violent quick.
Yeah, there's so many emotions that are tied up in this, and naturally. And
I mean, how do you keep your composure and not?
and that's really the big challenge about this. And when people are engaging you in this, and I got a lot of all the emails that came back were not fluffy and rosy. So there were, several responses on people that were not very happy with the email that we'd sent out on Friday, and that, challenged. And I'm happy to, discuss with people, because I think that's what it is. And I think it starts with a calm discussion.
What were people mad about?
They just, thought that it was unnecessary that was going on, and there were a lot of different things with it, and a lot of people want to interject and just say that this is all just kind of a perpetuated myth, that there is no such thing as any kind of difference in our society. It's going on, and that we're kind of part of the media problem with it's just trying to dig up something that's not there. So those were some of them. And so I responded back to some of them, and if you're open for a conversation, then I can have it. I'm not going to get into a screaming match with anybody, because I know when somebody comes in with that, nobody's open to learn or to hear anything, and it's going to be a waste of energy and time, and there's nothing productive about that.
The one thing I will say about us that a lot of media places won't do, if you want to call us out about something and you think we're wrong on it, we will give you the time to express your opinion. We're not going to run from it.
Yeah. So that's really kind of it. So yeah, so we dealt with that, and you see the tones, and it was interesting because there was one email that wasn't in my stack, but it was somebody that I responded to a few different times throughout the course of the weekend, And, and a lot of it was just saying, hey, look, I was raised to not be racist. And then it was kind of like ... A lot of the stuff that, were in the comments were kind of, questionable that had come up there. And so, I think for a lot of this, it's just kind of, to me, it's just understanding all that there is with it. And if you have an open mind and you're willing to hear that, let's hear that side. And then to me, I think the discussion does have to happen both ways. And like, one of the memes that somebody had sent back, it says, white slaves were sold for centuries. All our ancestors took slaves, sold slaves, or were slaves. You are not special. That was one of the ones that came back, just saying, that's the tone of it. And, there's a lot of points where it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can say, and there's an overall discussion about all this, but let's stay on point and on topic right now about the immediacy of in America. And sure, I mean, slavery's happened. You look in the Bible and there's stories about the Jews being slaves in Egypt. And so it's not a new concept. And they even say today there are more people in slavery than there ever have been, even during the height of slavery in America, where the sex slave trade and people that are just kept against their will and forced to do awful things. Yeah, unfortunately, slavery is not a dead concept on this planet. And there's a lot of things to talk about. But I think right now is we here in America are talking about how we can try to balance our society so that it is more even for everybody, no matter how you look. And that's the point to discuss. And that's where I'm like, if you take my hand, I'll walk you down a path where maybe you'll see a different side of this, because I had that blindness. I did not recognize and I didn't see that because I grew up in an area that didn't have any diversity and I never heard the stories. And then as I did, I was like, wow, okay, there's a whole different side to America that I didn't know about or understand. And then as I started hearing the stories, it opened my eyes to that. And I'm like, going, okay, well, what can I do to help you guys out? And that's really what the discussion is about. But yeah, there's a lot of things, but you can tell people kind of come right back and are like, okay, well, let's start a fight. I'm like, hey, look, I get it. You can discuss all those, but again, those are the things I say are the distractions. Those are the destructive. And we can get to all that, and that can all be part of a greater discussion because everybody, no matter the color of your skin, white, black, brown, whatever, everybody deserves the same level playing field. And I think that's the goal. And we can, take it case by case and race by race. Some of the other emails that came in, Teresa said that I've never been more proud of KVJ. Just wanted to say, please keep moving in this direction, not just original comedy, heartfelt personal stories, and now the open and intelligent dialogue to affect positive social change. And yeah, one of the big comments that we get is from people saying, look, I come to you guys just to laugh. I don't come for all this deep stuff. I'm trying to get away from it. And I get that. And we're trying to keep a very fair balance. But I will tell you that I've had convictions myself that I have a platform to try to talk to the mainstream a little bit. And if I don't do anything with it, I have a guilty conscience about it. And I feel like I'm not doing my part. And I want to try to take this because I'm not seeing a lot of places that are going to have a calm, rational, open discussion and consider all points about this. It's just not happening a lot of places. And I said, we have the platform for that. Like we raise money for the Bahamas or for Little Smiles or things like that. That is not like laugh out loud funny. But, we have a platform and are able to enact change. And so we try to use our platform at times for that. Sure, we want to keep the balance heavy on making you laugh and keeping you entertained. But every now and then there are some things that may not be overly hysterical that I feel that is part of our responsibility to do.
And you have it in your heart.
Yeah.
And that is truly what you need to remain focused on. If you feel something in your heart that is tugging at you and telling you that you need to do something and say something, then you do. Because you need to sleep with you at night and be able to know that you did what you could, that your heart was telling you. And all the detracting comments and all the emails in the world can't and shouldn't take you off of what you believe in your heart if your heart is filled with goodness and not racism. You shouldn't have to fight with people about ending racism.
Yeah,
this shouldn't be a fight.
I wouldn't want it to be, and I don't think it should be. And I think as long as we take it from an approach where we're not accusing anybody or attacking anybody, then let's have some calm discussions.
And as long as we're not creating a divide, and that's a big knock on the media, is a lot of times they're reporting what they show, what their point of view is to do nothing but divide, fire people up, keep people mad at each other. And that's one thing I do not want to be a part of.
Sure, yeah.
I think that's a huge problem with what happens a lot of times with a lot of any problems that we see on the screen.
Yeah, and there are part of these discussions that, we talk about, but I realize, look, I'm not part of the solution on this. I think that these communities, like on Friday, we were talking about the Gator Bait chant at the University of Florida, and I think that is something for that community in Gainesville to work out themselves and come up with their own decision. We were talking in this email from Jenny from Marietta, Georgia, said, I'm listening to your show from June 18th, and I want to say thank you for Jaybird asking why Miss Butterworth's iconography was being revised. I never knew the history of these brands, the trademark characters, so I really appreciate you providing the information behind their origins and being able to learn from that. We can't improve and progress without knowledge. And, that to me is a discussion for somebody else. You had the Miss Butterworth, you had the Aunt Jemima. I saw the story today that, and I was a little confused by it, but apparently the great-grandson, it said, of Aunt Jemima
is not happy.
Yeah, was not happy.
The way I honestly feel about all that stuff, people get mad about it and get all pissed off that these brands are changing. Do I really think that these brands are trying to be socially conscious? No. I think that they all are looking at an opportunity and they see one color, and that's green. And this is just like Gillette did during the hashtag Me Too. Gillette made a political, the commercial, and people were all fired up. Gillette doesn't give a shit about what you think. They care about money. That's all they care about. And a lot of times these companies, they try to take a social movement and make a social stance because of it.
Yeah.
Because of money. Just there's a lot of noise out there.
No, there really is. And some of the conversations that are going on, I don't even think can be really that constructive. I mean, there's a fight even between Muhammad Ali's kids, where one's saying that he would support it and the other one's saying that he would not support Black Lives Matter.
Oh, boy.
And, so it's like, what is that conversation going to do? Because he's not here to say either way, and so we get distracted by that fight of whether he would agree with it or not.
I call a lot of this stuff Twitter fights.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff, like even with the whole, the Mrs. Butterworth, these are Twitter fights, man. A lot of people don't care.
Yeah. So that's it. And those are those discussions where I don't think that ultimately is going to be what is advancing the cause here. There are other things to know about other than just syrup.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. So it goes deeper than just what we have on our breakfast table. Stacy's got some show suggestions. She said, for Virginia, I got a Netflix show for you, and maybe Kevin too, if you liked Outer Banks like I did. You'd love White Lines. It's an adult murder mystery that takes place in Ibiza, so it contains sex, drugs, and DJs. Just a warning, make sure the kids are asleep. Episode 1 will give you a case of the hornies.
Well.
My boyfriend had to take a little break from the binge watching to...
Don't catch a case of the hornies. They're tough to get rid of.
Also, if you have HBO Max, Love Life with Anna Kendrick is awesome. It's funny and gritty, and every female can relate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Also, The Infiltrator with Bryan Cranston, drugs, undercover agents, and amazing cinematography. It was so beautiful and interesting throughout the entire movie. It's on my top 10 of all time. That is from Becky that sends that in. I think I don't know if I've seen that yet, but I've heard of it. Something to check out. We got a comment here on a bit that somebody would like for us to bring back on the show. It is... the Will It Bite segment. Saw some old videos on YouTube, and it's been about 5 years, and he plans on bringing that back.
I was going through a lot of our old backlog on stuff because there's a YouTube channel that I had before KVJ that when we started doing YouTube videos, we were uploading them to that channel first. Then we did a KVJ. So there's this weird KVJ Bigfoot I-17, and there's a shit ton of old videos. There's some stuff we should absolutely bring back that are old, fun, goofy bits.
I agree.
And then we could do inside the studio.
Well, Amy from Bush Wildlife is always down to bring us animals. We just have to smuggle them into the building.
Will It Bite was one of them. Egg the Loser was another one.
Yeah.
We asked the audience a bunch of who do you think the ugliest on the show is, and then Denny reads Denny tells you who got the most votes by egging you in the head.
Oh damn, you're ugly and covered in egg.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. I was watching
segment. Yeah,
I was watching it. Oh, but then we're wasting eggs again. Shit.
Right, Virginia didn't want to waste 3 today.
Well, we got called out one time. We were doing an egg bit,
Yeah.
and somebody called Denny's and then emailed Leo.
I'm just overly egg sensitive, maybe.
You're wasting eggs and fuck you and the homeless people and
You
chickens.
suck.
Yeah, everything. We were against everything apparently.
So anyway, thank you, Antonio, for that. We'll have to bring that back. But yeah, somebody, it said, it is kind of crazy because I look back at all these bits and people are like, oh, why don't you do that? And I'm like, gosh, we got so many rules and regulations that, man, could you imagine going back to the original days of KVJ and it was just carte blanche. We'd do all these things and there, now if we did any of those things, with that contract that we just signed on Friday would be ripped up and we'd be in court. And
Well, not only that, people always ask, why don't you guys do street stunts anymore? And even some of the more benign stuff, especially, it was getting weird is before COVID hit. Now that you got a pandemic and people don't want you anywhere near you,
You could never.
I don't know if I get the balls to even ever try to fuck with somebody that I don't know.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a fun, loving, goofy prank, I don't know if I'm up for it.
It's not the time.
It's
and
just
now is the time for us to prank our family and close friends
I agree.
because they have to sign off.
I know
on
he's
it.
I know he's listening, but maybe it's good for him to listen. Suits, you've lived too much of a coddled KVJ life. It's time for you to start earning your keep, son.
We're coming for you, Suits.
We're coming for you hard.
couple of questions here. Casey want to know if this is a little tacky. He said, my friend Taylor's getting married in November and is struggling with what to put on a registry. Her fiance and her also want to buy a house next year. So she's considering making a GoFundMe so people can contribute towards their down payment. She said a lot of what she has on the registry they could buy themselves, which is why she's considering making a house fund too. Is having the GoFundMe to help buy a house tacky or a reasonable alternative to gifts?
Here it is. Yeah, it's a little tacky. Here's what you do. Just don't give to it and then talk about her behind her back like everyone else does.
Well, what you can do is you can disguise it. They have something now called a honey fund. And it's just where people go and they just donate to your honey fund. And you can say that it's going to just be used for a bunch of stuff. You're going to use it to celebrate your nuptials and your honeymoon and starting your life together. And you don't owe people much more of an explanation after that.
But just know when you do ask for, it's for our house or for this car, when you get really specific, you are putting it out in public and it is going to rub some people the wrong way.
So don't get specific.
Don't get specific like that.
Just say it's
we
all
need to-
about your starting your new life together.
That's going to probably annoy people too. Like, what the fuck? Honeymoon money? What is this shit?
I know a lot of people that do honeymoon money, and you can actually specifically go in there and say they want to have a jet ski adventure when they're in the Bahamas on their honeymoon. You can pay the $150 for 2 hours of jet ski, bam, pay for it right there, and it's specifically going to that supposedly, but it actually all goes into their bank account, and it's not specifically earmarked. It's not restricted funds. If you know anything about money, it's not restricted funds. You can put it towards whatever you want, and you can say it is whatever you want. The people that give it to you are not going to be able to see your P&L.
Isn't that what anyone wants anyway? People just want cash for their wedding.
Yeah.
I
And you can call it whatever you want.
I think this is more evolved and actually a better way to handle these kind of situations, because I'm not a big fan of getting a bunch of junk that you might not use.
Exactly.
And then you're dealing with a lot of stuff. And I think it's all about how you present. Presentation is pretty much everything. And if you say, hey, look, whatever you're led to give, you don't have to, anything that you would have spent on a regular gift, regardless, just put it into this fund. It'll save you from having to go out and buy anything or order anything. You just go in here and click, and whatever it might be, the same amount, go there, and we're going to use it for, here are some things we have on our list.
Yeah, don't give me a fucking blender. I'll smush it up with a spoon. Don't give me, I don't need a blender.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's just all about the phrasing.
How you gonna make daiquiris without a blender?
I could do it. I could crush the ice with a knife.
Wasn't that always the traditional thing, though? You'd have a big stack of, and you'd have 10 blenders on a table. And
Yeah,
then
that's kind of old school, though.
Yeah.
The way a registry works now is as soon as somebody buys that item off your registry, as long as they do it through the legit website, it takes that off of the available gifts to purchase.
If anyone ever buys me a lawnmower and I get excited, immediately punch me right in the dick.
You're about to be a homeowner pretty soon.
Yeah, I still won't be excited about getting a lawnmower for a present.
You should have a lawn service. Come do it.
Don't tell me how to live my life. Maybe I want to get out in the backyard with my shirt off, get a little sun.
I think you should just get a billy goat.
He's gonna mow his toe.
Whatever. I used to mow the lawn for my own house when I was a kid. Step off.
He's got all of his toes.
Yeah, I got all of my weird toes. You don't know me.
James sent an email and said, my girl's full of herself. She said, I've been with this girl for 3 months, and I like her a lot. She's really hot, but she won't stop talking about it. She talks about how hot she looks all the time. She will look in the mirror and say, damn, you look so hot, baby.
What?
Yes, she calls herself baby.
Is this real?
It's an email that came in. She's constantly calling herself hot on social media as well. I know it's great to have self-confidence, but sometimes it's cool to be humble as well. She's a nice person, so I feel bad for being annoyed by this. How annoyed would you be by this, or is it not that big of a deal?
So this is the email you question? Out of all of the fucking shit we get, you question the girl that
Can't be.
keeps calling herself
Can't
hot?
be real.
I've known people like that.
I've never known anybody that really verbalizes it.
I have too, but I think somebody that is that open about how hot they are, I feel like they cry at night. I feel like there's so much pain inside. There's no way you're that, look at me, I'm hot shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's masking something.
I feel like it has to mask something.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that, you know, if the looks start to fade or whatever, there's not a lot else that's there. But
Oh, have you ever seen that when a girl realizes that, yeah, looks do fade and there's more to life than just your look? They start to have a meltdown. Guys or girls. It's not a sex thing. Someone who's always just had their looks. That's all they've had. And when that starts to fade, they have a fucking meltdown, man.
sure.
I've seen it. It's so sad. And I actually know a girl that was like apologizing for her looks. I hadn't seen her in a long time. And I was like, hey, how's it going? And she's immediately, the first thing she starts doing is apologizing for aging. I'm like, what is going on right now?
People, it's insane.
Well, it's why you got to have a little bit of balance. And, you know, she put a lot of her time in her life into her looks, likely. And I know a lot of people have done that. And when you're not putting time into growing other parts of yourself, you know, your character and your knowledge, whatever it is you might have, that's, you know, it starts to swap later on in life. You exchange one for the other. The looks start to fade a little bit, but then you got more depth and something else to offer. And that's, you know, to me, when really great relationships can start to happen. Because you got a lot of depth to yourself. But unfortunately, if somebody is just for the first 20, 30, 40 years of their life only concentrate on looks and didn't do anything else, then that's where I think the stark reality hits in and says, wow, you know. And a lot of the friendships that you make, too. I mean, I see that now, especially, and I'm reminded of it. I saw in my 20s. I see it now with my daughter going through in her 20s. There are a lot of people that get a lot of privilege and things in life that happen for them because of the looks they have. The crew they hang out with, the opportunities are all based on the fact that they look pretty. And then as that starts to fade out and you don't get as many invitations on the boat or to this island or to that and to this trip, then you're like going, oh my gosh, what do I have left?
You better make your own money, girl.
Yeah.
Gonna have to love this just for the mind. Gotta love me for the mind and the heart.
Yeah. But it's tough, and some people do that. A lot of people are saying, yeah, I've seen this before. It's pretty annoying. But yeah, people do that. They put on a persona. And I think it's just, it really is insecurity.
Well, it absolutely is insecurity. Your friend that's saying all that, apologizing, that's sad because she thinks she has to apologize. I hate when people think.
It broke my heart.
I understand. I get why that would. It's too bad she's got to look at things like that because there is cool things about becoming older.
Because she's gorgeous, you know. But I mean, she's a gorgeous woman who's now 42, and you know, I think it's rocked her.
Well, I just love when people go in on somebody as an insult. You old fuck. I'm like, dude, do you know you're gonna get old? And if you're not old, you're dead. So attacking someone's age, I've never understood because we're all gonna get there.
You hope.
That's like attacking you for having a nose. You got a nose, man.
So yeah, it is annoying, and you know, maybe what you can do is try to get to her and be like, hey, you know, that's not a big fan of that tone, and if she's that way, then realize maybe you just, you know, it's a surface relationship. They ain't gonna go much farther.
That would be annoying, though. That would be if you were with somebody and they're in the mirror. It just would be cringy. Ooh, you look so hot, baby. Yeah.
It is pretty annoying.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah. Got a cool email here from Stacy. She said, hey, do you guys remember she had sent an email last year to us? She said, I sent the original email to you guys almost a year ago. Time flies. Since then, as you know, Hurricane Dorian hit our island as a Cat 5 hurricane September 1st last year. Treasure Cay, where my family lived, was torn apart almost a year later, and we still do not have power.
Oh, man.
I took my boys to the beach in Treasure Cay for the first time since the storm a few weeks ago. The beauty of Abaco cannot be destroyed even by a storm as destructive as Dorian. We are still truly blessed to call this place our home, and one day everything will be as it was. Asking you for continued prayers. That is Stacy, and you can see some of the photos. There they are out there with the stingrays.
Aww.
There she is with the kids on the beach, and it is beautiful there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, man. That's like a postcard.
It is, right? So they still have the beauty.
That is nice.
Any other word from West End, the place that we tried to help rebuild?
So they are not taking visitors. I wanted to go over there, but the Bahamas, as of last week when I asked, was still, the borders are shut down. You cannot go to the Bahamas to go check.
Crazy.
I know, because I want to go over there. I took a bunch of before pictures. I took a bunch of before pictures of not just the elementary school, but also 3 different houses that were right there along the main drag, the front line of defense. All 3 of those people were elderly people that were nominated by the church as people that were much older, could not do the construction themselves. Their houses had been literally decimated. Like, I walked through these houses and I could not believe it. But I have so many before pictures. I can't wait to get back over there so I can share with you guys the after pictures and show the difference in the work that we did. Each house, we initially earmarked, I think, $5,000 for each house. And then we earmarked quite a bit to the elementary school. And I can definitely show you pictures. You know, all I have is the one roof and then some of the interiors that we did there and the floors and the break room and the new AC. But until I can get back over there, I can't really take updated pictures.
Right.
And we were going to bring a team over there, too, and try to do some of the work ourselves. But even that is super tricky because if you're going to work, a lot of times it has to be approved by the Bahamian government. They would rather you hire their contractors and let their people do it.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of politics involved.
Yes. So that's what we did. I mean, with that money we raised, we were hiring Bahamians that live in West End and work in West End, that had been out of work in West End, and those people were doing the work. So infusing that money into West End just wasn't going to help the people in the school. It was also going to help citizens that live there and work there have a job, which without tourism, West End had no jobs.
Wow.
So
yeah,
we still have, I have to go back and find the exact number. I think there's about $28,000 still left in the kitty of money that we have to go over there and figure out where best to spend it.
Yeah.
And we will do that.
Just
but
have to get there.
Nobody can travel over there right now. All of my captains are like, nope, can't go. It's closed.
Wow. It's amazing. We're 9 months later and still
I mean,
no power there and trying to put some other things together.
It's scary. West End has power.
Yeah,
and West
but
End has
Abaco,
water.
where she
But
was.
yeah, the Abacos are still probably a mess.
Yeah.
And now that people can't go over and help them,
Right.
it prolongs it.
Well, there you go. Hopefully we'll get some updates on that soon. And also, John in Jacksonville, he said, hey, can you please give a shout out to my family? Crystal, Skylar, you gave her the kindergarten speech earlier this year. And baby Gabby, I'm heading out for a deployment and I won't be back for a while. So it'd mean the world to me if y'all can say, stay awesome and keep on keeping on. One of the worst things about going out to sea is the fact that I can't listen to my favorite morning show.
Aww.
That's tough. Yeah, I tell you, that's just the people who serve in our armed forces and what they have to do is separating from their families and things like that.
You are in our prayers and your family, and just have your family keep in touch with us and give us updates. You know, we're here for them.
How the family's doing. So thank you for your service there, John. Anything else you want to put on our radar? You can send us those emails, mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com. Have a great Monday. Talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.